right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk tonight about heart monitors and what kind of heart monitor did she have and how old was it? And what do I mean by heart monitors? Well, when I remember a while back, my mother had one, but it was like something she had at her house. There was like a home base, and then she wore something else. Now, depending on how old this thing might have been like a a, a router where it plugged into the wall and it plugged into the telephone line like a landline, and then she could use her telephone to run the whole thing, right? And her iWatch, but the the main part stayed at home. Like your router in your house for your internet, right? How you plug that in the wall, it plugs into the telephone line or whatever, and you run that. Is it possible she had something like that where she didn't have to be there? And maybe they unplugged it or whatever, which would send a signal to both the phone and to the monitoring hospital or whoever was monitoring, reading it, and it would send a disconnect signal to them also. So is it possible she had some? Now let's watch. I want to watch a couple of these monitors. I looked on the internet at a couple of these, and they also have these things that are called hotel monitors, where you take them into a hotel room with you. Cardiac heart monitors. Let's take a look at this real quick. I mean, depending on what she had, did she really need to be there? Or did it just need to show her iWatch or Apple Watch and her phone?
I'm having palpitations or a fluttering feeling, or they may have fainted or passed out and we don't know why. They may have some sort of congenital heart condition or even an irregular heart rhythm like atrial fibrillation, and we want to know how well their heart rate is controlled. So there are a lot of reasons why we would use a Holter monitor. Really, the most common is if someone says, I feel my heart skipping. So what it does is it records your heart rate and rhythm all the time, day and night, the whole time you're wearing it. And then it gives us the ability to see what's happening when you're feeling those sensations.
I'm so curious because it's this, that looks so tiny.
Right.
So how does the doctor get the information out of that?
Yeah, so it used to be, as I said, big and bulky, but now we have these patches essentially that are very easy to use. A lot of people are worried it's going to be cumbersome, but essentially this is where all the information gets stored, okay?
Oh.
So when you're visiting your doctor, they will essentially attach that to the sticker. You essentially snap it on and push down on it.
She's a pro.
Yeah, and
Such a
then,
pro.
whoops, well, now I just broke it. But, usually it would stay, and then you peel the sticker off and you wear it like this. And these can be worn anywhere from like 12 to 24 hours up to multiple weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, depending on how long your doctor wants you to wear it for. You can shower with it. You just can't swim or soak in a tub. And then when you're done and they've gotten enough information, you take this off and they give you a whole packet to mail it back. It gets mailed to the company. The company uploads the data and sends the doctor the report.
But do you feel anything while you're wearing it?
No, it's just there on you the whole time. You're not feeling it. And if for some reason the sticker comes off, they're replacement stickers, so you can change it. But the report is really nice because it actually gives me as a cardiologist a way to see what is your heart rate and rhythm, what is the average heart rate and rhythm, how fast do you go, how slow do you go, are you having extra beats? If so, how?
All right. She said this is the newer technology ones, but the older ones were bigger and bulkier. So did she have a newer one, Or did she have a couple? Did she have one that, like the older ones that you plugged in and it had like a home base thing, like a I don't know, like a router or something, and they plugged everything into that, and I don't know. But if she did have one of these, then all they really would have to do is take the monitor off of her chest. It unpeels right off the chest. Therefore, they're taking the monitor, the phone, and they don't need her there. The Apple Watch, and that's what I'm trying to get the point out, which I was telling Miss ATS News about the olden days when they had heart monitors. They were a bulky thing, a big bulky thing that you had to wear, and they were different. Hi, Miss ATS News. So, in reality, did the body of Miss Nancy Guthries have to be at that property for it to show that she was there?
Known for pursuing your passions. No one wants to be known for cancer.
Meaning all they did was rip the heart monitor sticker off of her chest, this computer thing. It's not like the olden days where she had a big giant thing on her neck and she wasn't allowed to, leave the house because at that time they didn't have technology like that. But this technology, that is just a sticker that, and you stick it to your chest. Well, therefore, all they had to do was peel it off. And if everything's being monitored through her phone, then you don't need Mrs. Nancy there. All you need is her phone, the heart monitor, and her watch. That would show she was home. Why? Well, because they want to pair that she was there at the certain time when maybe she wasn't. Therefore, if they had the phone already, it would ping there. When the investigators look at the data, it'll show she was there. When they look at the heart monitor, it was disconnected, but it was there or whatever, you know. But she wasn't there. Maybe. The rest of it's all to make it look like she was there. And in reality, if she never did make it home and it was just her phone and her monitor or whatever, if they did hurt her, well, that would have been easy to get blood from her and then take the blood from wherever she was hurt at, where they were keeping her, and drop it there and make it look like. See, we don't know anything about inside the house. People, even I said it's possible there was more than one. It's also possible they did something bad, and the reason the guy's backpack, maybe he left out the back and came around the front. I know Gray Hughes was talking about that, and that's possible. And there was something in the backpack that looked, you know, very big and a lot of stuff. Blood can be transferred. Was there any blood in the house? We don't know because we haven't seen no crime scene photos of what it was. Was it a bloody mess inside the house? We don't know. Let me see what ATS News is saying. Interesting. I don't know much about them now. Yeah, well, it's just a sticker with like a pager on it, and It just sticks to your chest. Not like the olden days, like I was talking about when my mom had one. It was a big, giant, bulky thing, and you weren't able to go outside because there was a monitor you plugged into the wall and the phone or whatever, and it communicated through the base unit and then to the phone come and it was. But now today it's just a sticker, right? And she's going to show you it's just a sticker in this video. Let's play a little bit more of this.
How many, and then if there's an arrhythmia, I actually get a tracing of it. And some of them, like this one, have the ability for you to tap on it when you feel something. So you can actually record when you feel something, and then I can see, aha, he pushed the button. Did something actually happen? And then I can tell you, you know what? It was actually a normal heart rhythm when you thought something was going on, or you know what? It was a problem. So much information we can get from these.
So
Come on,
after
technology.
someone wears something like this,
Mhm.
and you get the information, what happens next? Because as patients, we always have all the questions.
And want to know right away.
Right. So, because you're wearing it for a certain amount of time.
All right. She just said there's a button on it that you can push, depending on what kind Mrs. Guthrie had. But she can manually push a button on it on her chest to show that she thinks she's having a heart rhythmia. So is it possible when somebody was taking the heart monitor off of her chest? Hit the button on accident and it sent a signal that's showing that she was having arrhythmia, but really it was the assaulters or the kidnappers that hit the button when they were ripping the thing off her chest? Maybe these people knew. Maybe somebody tipped them off. Maybe they knew she had a heart monitor or whatever. All I'm saying is, did she have to be there to show that she was there? And I would say no. Only her phone, her watch, her Apple Watch, and the heart monitor. And I don't think she needed to be there because they're saying that at a certain time, like a half hour, is when that showed, because it wasn't, I don't know, 40 minutes, 40 some minutes. Was she there? Did this happen before? See, she didn't have to be there for the heart monitor to be ripped off, and as they're taking it off, the buttons hit like she had a problem. Maybe they deliberately hit the button to make it think that, oh, she had a heart attack. She must have died somewhere, maybe walking around, I don't know, pretty weird. Well, she has a pacemaker. That's inside your heart. But they were monitoring it, so it had something like what I just showed you, or gonna show you here. Hold on a minute.
And then you're mailing it in and they're uploading the data. It's not going to be a super fast turnaround, but you'll probably get the information back from your doctor within a few weeks. And basically they'll review it with you and go through all that information that was generated by wearing it, and hopefully be able to reassure you that what you were feeling was nothing worrisome. But certainly if it does pick up something concerning, then it lets us take those next steps. For example, if it does pick up an irregular heart rhythm, we could refer you on to the cardiac electrophysiologist, which is a specialist in cardiology that deals with electrical system issues.
I want to try it now. I gotta try.
You want to take this one?
Yeah, I'll take it.
We'll put it on you later.
We'll see Marco wearing it all weekend.
Doc, thank you.
Thank you so much.
See the USA in your Chevrolet.
Broken. Essentially snap it on, and when you're visiting your doctor, they will essentially attach that. But essentially, this is where all the information gets stored. Okay. So when you're visiting your doctor, they will essentially attach that to the sticker. You essentially snap it on and
Okay.
push down on it.
She's a pro.
Yeah.
Such
And
a
then,
pro.
whoops, well, now I just broke it. But, usually it would stay. And then you peel the sticker off and you wear it like this. And these can be worn anywhere from like 12 to 24 hours up to multiple weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, depending on how long your doctor wants you to wear it for. You can shower with it. You just can't swim or soak in a tub. And then when you're done and they've gotten enough information, you take this off and they give you a whole packet to mail it back. It gets mailed to the company. The company uploads the data and sends the doctor the report.
But do you feel anything while you're wearing it?
No, it's just there on you the whole time. You're not feeling it. And if for some reason the sticker comes off, they're replacement stickers, so you can change it. But the
Yo, Debbie. Yeah, it just sticks on your body, I think. Miss ATS News. Either I don't know what it does, but it's easy to remove. So if it's that easy to remove, did they even need her there? What if she never made it home? What if this happened a day or two before? We don't know. So the only thing that would have to be there showing, oh, well, she went out to dinner the night before or whatever and went, came home and look, well, the phone's showing she was there, because they needed that ping. Or the heart monitor is showing that she's there. Because all they needed was that heart monitor. I don't know, maybe. Maybe. It's possible. Like I said, blood is, if they did have her, if something bad did happen, then all they would need is a little bit of her blood to drop in the front. And look, if there was a robbery, they took her. Look, there's blood right here, a couple droplets. Anything in the house? Nothing. Not a drop in the house, just a couple right here on the stoop here by the front door. Yeah, it's very possible. It's also possible it was the cartel. It's also possible it could have been family. I mean, there's possibilities of all kinds of things. It could have been the island. We have no idea. It could have been Big Pharma. Supposedly, this little 84-year-old lady was 007 to Big Pharma or whatever, or getting lawsuits on them or busting them or something. Let me see what Debbie said. I knew someone who had one of those. Was careful with the microwave. Well, like I was telling ATS News back in the day, they were a lot bigger. And they plugged into your phone socket or internet or whatever and into the wall. But technology has come so far, you just use your phone and it sticks right on your chest. It's like your home base. So if you rip it off, who knows how long before it beeps again to collect data, unless you hit the button on it, and that shows, she's either having arrhythmia, but see, she don't have to be there to hit that button manually to make it look like she was having a heart attack. Yeah. By God, I think we might have figured it out. Or some of it. Right? She left the house, but her phone wasn't taken. The heart monitor wasn't taken. Or was it taken? Not sure. Or was it left at the house? I don't know. What about the Apple Watch? I don't know. That might not have had to be there either. Certain time, maybe it checked in on something if she was monitoring, had all these monitors on her, Apple Watch, heart monitor, pacemaker, uh, monitor and everything. Did she really have to be there, or were these monitors as easy? It was just a sticker that stuck to your body, and you unpeel it. I mean, this lady just said they give you like a whole bunch of stickers in case it falls off or becomes unsticky. So therefore, could have fell and hit itself, landed on the ground on front of it because there's a button on the front of it to manually activate. So yeah, I'm not going to throw it off the table. It's very possible. Very possible. Magnetics can stop and start it. Yeah, maybe. But what I'm trying to figure out that is, does she literally have to be there? Does the heart monitor? Does the pacemaker? Does the phone? Do these things have to be there to show that she's home? For all we know, something bad happened to her before she even got home. Before she even walked into the house. She may not even made it into the house. We have some Uber driver that says he watched her walk into the house. I mean, how are they going to track that? The only thing they could do is track the pacemaker that's inside of her. That's the only thing they can go off of what they're saying now, because it's obvious she didn't have this stuff when they took her. Which kind of makes sense. Either somebody staged it to make it look like she was there and then someone took her, or these people were kind of smart and they ripped off the heart monitor and they left the phone and they left the Apple Watch. It only took the body. Yeah, Bluetooth. Someone said it was Bluetooth too. Maybe somebody did something with the Bluetooth. Debbie was talking about that, but it's very possible. You know, it's very possible. Especially if something as devious as they're saying this is, that everyone's thinking it is the family and something happened. Well, then is it possible she never made it home? Yes. Yes. Maybe the Uber driver dropped somebody off at that house, but it was not Nancy. Therefore, all they needed was the phone, Apple Watch, and the heart monitor to show she was at home, but really she wasn't. Debbie says it's sent to a secure server. It probably is, Debbie. The heart doctor can track the device. Yeah. The heart monitor. Now the heart, the pacemaker. The pacemaker, I don't know if they can track that right away. The heart monitor that I just showed you in this video, that can be tracked by the doctor. But all that does is just peel right off. She just showed you how you just stick it on your chest and it just peels right off. They give you a bunch of stickers to use. Sure, the doctor can track it, but it's at home, showing that she's at home when she's really not. Debbie said, yep, the pacemaker is her chest, can be tracked by doctors. Yeah, but that might take a little bit longer compared to the heart monitor that they're saying that she had on. They're saying she had a pacemaker, but she also had a heart monitor that was tracking the heart. So if that just stuck on her chest, they can remove that. They can't remove the pacemaker. They could, but if they remove the pacemaker, Mrs. Nancy is deceased. So very interesting. Let's see if there's any more of these devices that we can see. Went ahead real fast and Google it, or went on YouTube, and you see how small these are, Debbie. You see that? And it just sticks to the body. All right, this one straps on. Now, don't make fun of what I just said. It's a strap on. This is a strap on heart monitor. You strap it on around your chest. I know what you're going to say. You're say this ain't what you think it is. This is a strap on heart monitor. You strap it around your chest. This ain't a stick on one. It's a strap on. I know what you're thinking, Debbie. You're gonna laugh, but just this is serious. All right, let's see if there's any more.
A local
Look at this little one.
Glow beyond a bright smile while you brush with Opalescence Whitening Toothpaste.
Get up to $80 in MasterCard Virtual Reward.
Welcome back to Iron Scrub. We're going to be going over the Zio XT monitor if you have any palpitations. Usually the doctor asks for 7 or 14 days, and this is how the packet looks like. This is your little braided that you're going to need later. So basically, you're going to make sure that the area is clean. Locate the left chest, one finger below the collarbone and slightly left of the center chest, and you're going to imagine that there's a square right there on your left chest. And then right afterwards, you're going to go ahead and shave the area, prep this area if you need to. In this case, we don't need to. And then you're going to go ahead and use that abrader across the entire area with a square. And then you're going to go ahead and clean this with the given alcohol swabs. So right here, I'm showing you how to use the abrader again. And you're going to use the abrader with 40 strokes across the area, up and down, all the way across, and then diagonally both ways. And this helps to prep your skin so that the adhesive is stuck to your skin and doesn't come off. It takes quite a bit of time and it does sting, but it's okay. We have bigger purposes for this. So then they provide you with the sterile alcohol prep pads, and you're going to go ahead and use all of them. And then after you're done prepping it with the alcohol prep pads, you're going to let it dry for 1 minute. This part really stings, but again, it's for a good purpose. Wipe it all clean. Let it dry. Oh, get the little hair. Okay, and then now you're going to go ahead and apply your monitor. It tells you right here how to stick it on.
This
so you're going
is
to
a
go ahead
heart
and take
monitor,
the
Debbie.
backings off. And then you're going to go ahead and grab the patch and place it with the arrow pointing up in that little square that you have already prepped. Place it firmly on there, and then rub each of these sides all around it for 2 minutes.
I'm saying that the heart monitor that you are seeing right now could have been taken off of her chest and they could have brought it back to the house. I'm saying she didn't have to be there. They could have took the phone, the heart monitor off of her chest, and the Apple Watch and brought it to her house without her being there. And therefore, it would show that this occurred at a certain time when really it didn't. That they had the phone, the monitor, and the watch, and all they needed to do was bring it to the house and drop it off, along with maybe some blood. Now, this is a theory. It's possible. It's possible. All right. Now, so that's all I'm saying. Is it possible? I mean, they're not like the olden days when it was a big bulky thing you had to wear around your chest and your neck, and it went up against your chest, and that sent the signal to a home base router heart monitor back in the day before all this new technology came out. Now, depending on what kind of heart monitor she had, if she had an older one where the base stayed at home and she wore it similar to what we're seeing, but she would wear that, but that would send a signal to the home base one that was on the table that looked like a router or something. It was weird. Like I said, my mother had one back in the day when she thought she was having trouble, but she was. But it was bigger, right? You kept it at home. Technology has come so far where uh, you can use your phone, your cell phone, to monitor it and everything. Um, so so the only thing that needed to be at the house was the phone, that monitor that you're looking at on the screen, and her Apple Watch. She didn't have to be there. The story could have all been made up. The time might have been wrong. If all this stuff was disconnected, did they get the times right? I'm wondering if they got the height right because we also seen in the Delphi case that they got the height wrong. First descriptions that came out, the guy was somewhere between 5'9" and 5'11" or 5'8" and 5'10" or something like that. And the guy they caught was 5'6". So they were off. They were off on the height. They were close in the 5 foot range, but they were off. So yeah, Nancy had both, Debbie. She had both heart monitor and pace. Yeah, Deb. But see, with these heart monitors, Debbie, that you're looking at in the photo right now that we're looking at, there's a little button on that. You can push it manually. If you think you're having like a heart attack or something, you can push that little button and it records data of your heart. So let's say she's fine, then all of a sudden someone rips that off of her and hits the button, it'll show she's having a heart attack or she thinks she's having a heart attack, right? Because the button is showing that she thinks she's having heart rhythmia. So that machine starts working and tracking her heart. This ATS News says, yep. pacemaker, heart monitor to see how someone has a problem. Yeah. So the only thing that really needed to be at that house, they're saying, well, they were tracking her heart, and she had a pacemaker. Well, then she had that thing on. She had one of them things on, which is as easy as you just grab the end of it and it pulls right off. It's just a sticker. So maybe, who knows? I don't know what the heck is up with my microphone or headphones today. Like somebody doing something. Excuse me. Well, there you go, folks. That's all I really wanted to say. Is I don't think the body needed to be there to show she was home. And a lot of people are saying, well, she never made it home. Very well possible. All they would need is just a little of her blood. Like I said, without knowing the extent of this murder, we have no idea if she was taken off of that property alive. They might have done something very, very bad. And them leaving out the front door and blood trickling down might have been coming from a bag of, we don't know, a sheet or something. But we have no idea. We don't know. Hopefully you folks can hear me. Hopefully it makes some kind of sense. You know, these people are like, well, the phone showed activity in that. Well, the phone, did it ping in that area? Well, yeah. Well, the phone didn't have to be in the house. They could have had the phone and showed up there. What proof do you have other than that guy dropped some woman off? Was it even Nancy? Who knows? Well, her pacemaker, they don't know. They're trying to track the pacemaker. They can't find the pacemaker. They're trying to track it, Debbie. So she didn't need to have the pacemaker there. Not unless they're saying that someone took the pacemaker, which, if they knew she had a pacemaker, pacemakers are very expensive. Maybe somebody took it to sell it on the black market. They don't know nothing right now, Deb. They haven't come out and said it. They had no idea that there was even a happening. They had no idea that when she disappeared. I think the police got themselves in a ringer. They just are saying they did, but at first, the first statement they put out, they had no idea that she was missing. None at all. Yeah, that's all anyone could do right now. We know this. The phone, the heart monitor, and the Apple Watch was at her house. That could have been dropped off when they broke in. We got to make it look like this was something it wasn't. leave out the back door because it shows there was activity at the backyard. They broke in through the backyard. Then again, no one is saying that there was even entry. Therefore, did they have her key? Did they have her purse? Which if she was dropped off there, she didn't have her car. Usually people do what? They put their garage door opener where? In their car. Or they take it with them. Right? So where would she have the garage door opener? Well, on her phone or in her purse. Therefore, yeah, she didn't have to be there. They could have made all this look like she was there. Debbie Fox is saying she did not have good support from her kids. I don't know. I don't know. I guess her family was involved. So I'm not sure. No, I got the hiccups and my headphones are going completely crazy. Or my microphone, one of these things. I gotta update my stuff. In the car. Well, yeah. Usually people leave garage doors openers in their car. How did the garage door open? It either had to be on her phone or she had to have a garage door opener in her purse because she didn't drive. She didn't drive to this dinner date that she had with her family. How did she get inside of her garage? She had to have the garage door opener. And now, see, I can make this look like she was home, but she really wasn't. And why I say that is there's no evidence yet or footage of Mrs. Guthrie coming out of that house. We don't even know if we have footage of her leaving. She might have left a couple days ago. Right? Before this, they never came home. There's no evidence of her walking into that house on camera. You see, we're not seeing that yet. When we should be seeing that. Here's Mrs. Guthrie coming home from the dinner date. Are you seeing that anywhere? No, you're not. Why? If you're seeing the crime guy, why are we not seeing Mrs. Guthrie come home? I'm questioning you folks, Miss ATS News, Miss Debbie. Why are we seeing the crime guy or guys on camera, but we are not seeing Mrs. Guthrie leave that house or come home? And ladies and gentlemen, I rest my case. That's why I only do a couple videos a day. No, that's why we do what we do. We love people, humans. Now, can you go ahead and explain that to me, Miss Fox? Miss ATS News, why we are not seeing footage of Mrs. Guthrie leaving the house. Here's poor Mrs. 84-year-old Mrs. Guthrie going on her dinner date. Here's Mrs. Guthrie coming home from her dinner date on camera. And here's the Uber driver car that dropped her off. We don't see none of it. Debbie Fox is saying, take this woman's cleavage down, jeez. All right, Debbie, there's little Sophie. There's little Sophia for you. But why are we not seeing footage? They had cameras in front and back. We're not sure if they had cameras in the house. Why are we not seeing Mrs. Guthrie or any vehicle showing up and them saying, aha, here's the Uber driver that dropped Miss Guthrie off her vehicle. Do you see that vehicle pulling in anywhere? No. We're not seeing what we should be seeing. And that's all I have to ask or show to you folks. I didn't want to have to solve this case, but looks like I might have to. No, they made a mistake. They're trying to cover stuff up. That's why we're not seeing Mrs. Guthrie go to the family dinner. And that's why we are not seeing Mrs. Guthrie come home from the dinner. We're not seeing anything on TMZ or the news or anyone saying, here's poor little lady, 4-year-old Miss Guthrie. Uber driver or family coming to pick her up. That's her leaving. Oh, here comes poor little Miss Guthrie's home from her dinner. And there she is pulling in to her driveway. And there's the car leaving. And here's little Miss Guthrie walking in. Why would Mrs. Guthrie disappear? I don't know. It's kind of weird. But that's my question, Miss Fox, and to Miss ATS News, is why are we not seeing that footage? Are there any more questions from the students? This is ATS News. You might want to do a live about that. You might want to do a live about that, Miss ATS News. Why are we not seeing before Mrs. Guthrie goes? And why are we not seeing after supposedly Mrs. Guthrie's? No matter who picked them up or drove them, how come we're not seeing these vehicles on footage? You're going off a hearsay. She was dropped off. Show me the proof. Show me the footage of it. She left in an Uber driver. Show me the proof of the Uber driver pulling up in the driveway and leaving. Show me the footage of it. Until you do that, it's hearsay. Then they need to release it because you can't base a case on hearsay. But right now, it's all hearsay. You're telling me we're seeing the kidnappers on camera, but yet they have not produced that this even happened. Well, here she is leaving. Here she is coming home. Until you people out there in Arizona produce that evidence, it's all hearsay. She might not even been there. Who knows how long? Maybe a day, 3 days. Who knows? Miss Debbie Fox is saying people think it's the family. Well, then the family's lying. And it's very well possible she was missing for a lot longer than what you thought. And the only thing that really did need to be there was the phone, the monitor, the heart monitor, and the Apple Watch. And what else? The garage door opener. That's it. Mrs. Guthrie's didn't have to be there. Well, maybe. Some say you might be right, Debbie. If they have it, show it. If not, it's all hearsay. And Mrs. Guthries never went to dinner that night. And Mrs. Guthrie never came home from that dinner because there was no dinner. Is there anything else you would like to say, Debbie? You're looking at Sophia, the Yorkie, who is sleeping. Her bed is like a small sofa couch, like a chair, small sofa chair or something. Theo Vaughn, stop peeping Tomming on me and trespassing, looking in my windows at night. Try and get a photo of me so you can send it to TMZ and make money. Just stop it. Grow up, kid. They won't show us all that until there's an arrest. Well, they'll have to show it. That's the first thing they should have shown. That's the first thing they should have shown in this whole story. Was here's the proof. She was home, she left, she came home. Here's the bad guy on camera. They never showed her leaving or coming. That property. For all we know, Uncle Terry or Aunt Terry came and visited Mrs. Guthrie and took her back where? Ohio. It's very possible. That's what a lot of people are saying. I'm not going to take it off the table. Who's done it? Yeah. You know, Mrs. Savannah's in the entertainment business. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, but another case solved on this. I'm starting to get like the rest of these YouTubers. Another case solved. Let's see what Debbie's talking about here. Let's see. I think they found her. Yeah, well, I think something that I don't think they were being straight with the public. Well, I think either she was there or something. I don't know, or somewhere else, you know, or something. And you know, it's where she ain't there, but there's no evidence of a body leaving that property. The only thing you got is maybe one or two guys and backpacks that are full. So either they had her phone and they made it appear that they were doing something else. Well, or somehow, I hate to say it, they were carrying the bodies, whoever this was, or in the backpacks, maybe. I mean, I don't want to sound disgusting or anything, but maybe. We have no idea. That would explain the trickling of the blood outside the door right in the corner. Maybe. Maybe they placed the bag down there and the bag was leaking. Maybe. Show me evidence that that little old lady is taken out the front or the back or the garage. There was cameras there. Debbie Fox says in the backpacks. Maybe. You might be onto something. We all might be, but I'm not sure. Calm down, little Debbie. Calm down. Boy, she gets feisty with it. She's working the case. Feisty little lady. Well, there you go, folks. We're trying to figure it out just like the rest of you is. How many people? Well, it could. Who knows? One, two, three, four. Could have been many. Depending if they knew who she was and who her family was and everything. It could have been planned. It could have been a cartel, Arizona cartel or something. You got to explain to me, right? You don't want no one to know nothing. And you got gloves all over the place, 16 pairs of gloves or whatever, around the house or whatever, and a mile away or whatever. And you got to carry this older lady who is crippled. Keep that in mind. She barely could walk. And now you got to lug her around everywhere. It's just too risky. It's just too risky. The other day we showed you that they can get into Mexico. Yeah, they probably could even get medication to keep her alive. But now it's grown so big and got so much technology wrapped up into it. If anyone did call them, they would be made. So now you got to hold on to the package for how long? Who knows? Who knows? And what's that take? Resources, time, a chance of someone seeing her and everything. It's just too risky. Unless you went there to do one thing and one thing only, or two things: take the woman, kidnap her, and rob her, or make it look like it was something that it wasn't. Not a robbery. A robber don't take people with. Not unless it's a hostage situation. They know they're going to get caught. And the reason they took the lady was in case they did get caught, they have a hostage to deal, with the police or whatever. So I don't know. It could be numerous things. Nah, well, who knows? Who knows? I've been under attack all day. Ah, little demonic demons. But it's possible. And, everyone, well, she had a heart monitor on and it was being monitored through her phone. Well, look at that. If that's what kind of heart monitor she had on, where it just stuck to her chest, uh, all the kidnappers had to do, or whoever, or whatever happened, was take it off and bring it back to the house with the phone. And now, oh, well, it pinged right here. She's home, and here's the heart monitor pinged, checked in, and boom, everything shut down. Well, yeah, very well possible. And what we're seeing is big media attacking little guys. We're seeing even these YouTube big media creators, that attacking the little guys and everything. And what I mean by that is telling people not to listen to us, that we have no idea what we're talking about. And we're idiots or stoners or druggies or whatever, right? Or everyone's a pedo now. Well, that's what's going on YouTube. Now all of America's pedos, right? Everyone's bridge guy. Now everyone is mask man. Everyone is Evansdale guy. Everybody's it's like a pattern. Debbie Fox is saying A doctor can turn a pacemaker on or off. Huh? Maybe. Maybe they can send a signal, but that needs to be done through satellite. You have to do that through satellite or a phone, right? How do you do that? There's some kind of a device system or something, but I don't know. That's pretty crazy. But yeah, just another theory or scenario or question to what kind of heart monitor she did have. And was that heart monitor easily to remove from the body? And as long as that heart monitor stayed with the phone and the Apple Watch, it would send signals that she was alive. And we've seen that so many times in other cases where the killers or the kidnappers had the family's phone. They had the victim's phone. And they went on for a long time making people believe that they were alive. But in reality, the victim was dead. And the perps, or whatever you want to call them, had the phone. And that's what we could be looking also in this situation. Is she might have been gone, but somebody had the setup. Made it look like she was alive, but she wasn't. With a pacemaker like that, you could stick it off and put it right on someone else, couldn't you? Yeah, you could, Johnny. Couldn't you, Miss Debbie Fox? Couldn't you take this pacemaker that we were seeing, or a heart monitor, and could I take it off of you and stick it on me, and then, well, there I go. Could I take your phone and walk around with it with that heart monitor on and it show that, well, you're alive? You're alive. But in reality, you're not. You're gone. Right? Couldn't I take that Apple Watch and put it on my wrist? Could you do that, Johnny? Well, I guess I could. I can stick that heart monitor to my chest, and I can put that Apple Watch on, and I can take Mrs. Guthries' phone, and I can walk around, and guess who I am now? I am Mrs. Guthrie now. I don't want to have to do too much. I'm making a lot of you professionals look very dumb. I really don't want to do that. Now, if there's any more questions from my students in chat, I would like to maybe end this video unless there's any more questions for Professor Johnny, for Inspector Johnny. There's any more questions from my students in chat? Any? Let me see what Miss Fox is saying. Yes, Miss Fox. Thank you for raising your hand and being respectful. It's not registered to you, and your Apple Watch is very sensitive to your personal, and I have 2 of them. It don't matter. By the time the Apple Watch figures it out that it's not Mrs. Guthrie, the job's already done. And a heart monitor don't need to be, just because that heart monitor is registered to someone else in that phone doesn't mean I can't put it on and walk around and they think Mrs. Guthrie's still alive. Yes. Good question, though, Mrs. Fox. The rest of you students should learn from these people in chat. Yes, they can track the heart monitor. What they can't track right away is the pacemaker. That's why the police are now just now saying, well, we want to try and track the pacemaker because the pacemaker sends off a signal. See? But if she was having trouble with her heart and she also had a heart monitor on, like they're saying, that was connected to her phone, like they're saying, then all they would have to do is take the heart monitor off her chest because it's just a sticker, stick it on them, grab her phone, take her watch off, put it on them, and off we go. Now they have become Mrs. Guthrie. We're tracking her. What's it showing? Well, it seems like she's having trouble, but she's alive. She's at home. But really, she's not. Any other questions from my students in the chat? Debbie says, or a pacemaker. They cannot track a heart monitor. No, they can't. But the phone can, that heart monitor is connected to. See, they're trying to track the pacemaker inside her body. The heart monitor is outside of her body, so all they have to do is peel it off with a piece of tape. But why would she have a heart monitor on? But yet she also had a pacemaker. Very interesting. And people are saying that's so they can track the heart. Make sure the pacemaker is working right, or a real heart's working right, and the pacemaker kicks in to kick the heart in. When it defibs. Is there any other questions you would like to know, Mrs. Fox? It does not have GPS or location. The heart monitor does. It's connected to the doctor where the doctor can check everything, which might have been connected to her phone. I have no idea. The Apple Watch, people are saying, well, that was all connected to her account and everything in her phone. Well, then all I really needed was her phone and her Apple Watch to be placed at the house to show she was there. Phone ping. Where was the last phone ping? At her house, where the phone was and the Apple Watch. Show me the footage of Mrs. Guthrie leaving that house and the vehicle she left in. And show me her coming home from this great dinner that she had and the vehicle that pulled in that driveway to drop her off. Show me that little lady was even home. Show me the footage of that she was there that day and she walked out her door and came back to that house that day. And don't tell me there is no footage of that, because there's footage from cameras from other neighbors and down the road and everything. Show us the footage of that vehicle, please. Or both vehicles, because they're claiming she was Uber drivered there and then the family drove her home. Show me the footage of them vehicles pulling into the driveway. Thank you very much. Show me the tire tracks of that vehicle pulling in the driveway from both vehicles. Thank you very much. Debbie Fox says, do not have to show Johnny Kramer that. Yes, you do. I'm demanding it, Miss Fox. I didn't want to have to make the government look dumb, but they left me no choice now. Sorry, Miss Fox. Maybe next year you'll graduate from my YouTube chat. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are going to end this video. I think I've stumped all of my mods. I've stumped everybody. There's nobody that can question that there's a very well good possibility that she was never there at the house. It's possible. But first off, I want to make sure that little lady left that house and came home. And if they have the footage of the guy being there, then surely they have the footage of before all this happened, days before. Even though her account was not up to date and not active, the camera was still filming the evidence. Mrs. Fox is saying they should put GPS in the heart monitors and then the pacemaker. Yes. But the pacemaker, Debbie, the monitor, the heart monitor is tracked by GPS. Oh, no. Hold on a minute. The pacemaker sends off a signal that they can track. From what they're saying, I wouldn't believe it, but it might be possible. Now, the heart monitor, I don't know if it was connected to her phone or not, but that's connected. Some of them are connected by GPS. Some of them, it's just data being recorded on that little heart monitor. Then you take the heart monitor off and you send it to the doctor. So the whole thing could have been a lie. Her phone was connected to her heart monitor, and her heart monitor and her pacemaker was all a lie. Therefore, all they needed was the phone, the heart monitor, and her Apple Watch to be at the house. Thanks for bringing that up. Miss Fox is the one that cracked that case. They can't track none of it. Well, maybe not. We'll see. So the only thing that really had to be at Miss Guthries' house was the watch, the pacemaker, or not the pacemaker, but the heart monitor, because they're the ones that claim she had a heart monitor on. But they're saying they found stuff at the house, the watch, the phone. Therefore, there's no way, as long as the phone was there and the Apple Watch, she could have been anywhere. You need rebuild. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm not good at this, but I get by. And I've been having people put spells on me and magic, voodoo, witchery, sorcery, trespassing on me today. Everything. All glory goes to God. Amen. On the Lord's day. Watch our phones, us GPS. Yeah, well, they should, Deb. You're right. Put one in the heart monitor
If you are
and
facing
the
advanced non-small cell lung
pacemaker.
cancer, asking your doctor about a treatment plan with Keytruda.
Your phone already has GPS in it. Miss Debbie Fox's turn to AI. Was that a question you asked AI, Miss Fox? If a heart monitor could be tracked, you asked AI. You can track that watch and phone. Yeah, that's why I'm saying all you needed to be at that house was her phone. She could have left that house a week ago. And if they had the phone and everything, they could have made it look like she was alive. If the killers got your phone and they're all over town and people think you're alive, oh, yeah, she's alive. We're tracking her. She's all over it. But it ain't her. Then, yeah, I can see what you're saying. Yeah, okay, it's. All right, what I'm going to do is probably end this video. I might be back later, maybe not. I'm getting hungry. I might make me some herbal tea, tweed tea, the icky of the sticky teas. A tea with some honey in it. Yeah, yeah, Deb, you're right there. So they don't need it. They don't need to track the heart monitor for all we know. Everyone is saying that all this stuff was hooked up to her phone and her iWatch. So she didn't have to be there. Just the devices needed to be there. Maybe that's why they left them behind. Why? To buy them time. You know, days could have went by before anybody contacted Mrs. Guthries, giving them time because if somebody said, "Well, she's missing," and they ping her phone, and well, she's at home. All right, now we are going to end this thing. I want to say thank you to all my mods and viewers and subs. Everyone else, I'm sitting here babysitting tonight. This little booger, this little Yorkie. God bless America. What's left of it. All right, Miss. Well, this says no, heart monitors or heart devices do not speak to satellites or track location. It'll only talk to your phone so you can monitor it, so you can check on it and stuff. Or the doctor might have some kind of a device to read it, maybe, or they can't read it or anything until you send the device in. Then they can read the device, but that's it. So therefore, the only thing that is any kind of real clue is the phone and the watch. And that's pretty much it, folks. That's all I really needed was the phone and the watch. to either be left behind to buy them time as they escaped with Mrs. Guthries, or they brought the phone back and made it look like a robbery or a murder or whatever, and then yeah, it's possible it can go either way. All right, we are going to go ahead and end this video. It's all up to the phone, exactly the phone. And we all know that a body does not have to be with the phone to make it look like the body is alive that owns the phone. All right, we're going to end this thing. I'm going to see what I can conjure up here to eat. I want to thank everybody for stopping in. God bless everybody. Save us all in Jesus' name. Heal us all in Jesus' name. Amen. Miss Fox, thanks for showing up. Miss ATS News, everybody else, have a great night. God bless. I'll be back.